Okay, so this is part 5, I think. So this is just the final. So as I told you guys, I've given you everything from beginning to end. Where are we now? Pre-trial starts in July. Trial starts in August if it doesn't get pushed back. Right now, I haven't seen anything posted that says that it will. There is a lawsuit pending, and with all of the information that has come out in this preliminary hearing, looks to see that Alexee is going to win the lawsuit against Artesia General Hospital. We do know that after she was arrested, she was released. That's how we got this information from the hearing. They did go back a few months back and modify her release order, saying that she could be with her boyfriend and that she could go to school, but pretty sure she's choosing to go online because nobody's seen her in school. Now, with all of that, if you guys actually listen to the hearing from beginning to end, you're going to see that the judge was not easy on her. He was pretty hard on her, and there was a lot of threats at the end there about if she even talked about this case, all of the things that he would do to put her back in jail if she messed up. It seems that she's been on the straight and narrow with her release. Why do I think that she should not be charged? Let's go there. I look at this case like this. This is a girl who came into a hospital for help. People want to say, oh, well, she knew she was pregnant. She came in there. She was lying. They did a pregnancy test immediately upon her entering. If she knew that they were going to find out she was pregnant, why not just leave? She'd already gotten her medication. She'd already got the morphine. She got everything for the pain. She was relaxed. At any point, she had the right to leave. She chose not to. They wanted to find out what was going on. They knew they were she knew they were going to order a CT scan according to the doctor. Nobody bothered to come in and tell this girl that she was pregnant. That right there could have changed everything. Everything. She was not getting the care that she needed. And yes, the responsibility of putting that baby in the garbage can falls on her. I can't argue that. I don't think anybody even on her team is going to argue that. I don't think we ever would have gotten to that point if it wasn't for the hospital's negligence. She should have never been in that situation to begin with. She went in there. She was constantly cheering. Okay, everybody who on the outside looking in says, oh, she looked pregnant. I had a college roommate. We found out she was pregnant at the very end of her pregnancy. Went through the whole college. And after that, she comes in and she's laying on the bed. And all of a sudden, we're like, oh my gosh, how did we not see this? How did this whole time she not know she was pregnant? She was having a period. And she was told, if you have your period, you can't get pregnant. Or you're not pregnant. Excuse me. So that is the misconception there. And so she didn't know. And we never saw it because we see her all the time. And then when we took a step back and now that we knew the truth, we were like, oh crap, the signs were there. How did we not notice? How did we not see this? And it happens all the time. There's people who've commented in all of my comments that they did not know they were pregnant until the very end. There's not always morning sickness. There's none of that stuff. She was pretty active. She was cheerleading. She was doing this. So she goes into the hospital and she's pacing and her back hurts and everything about her hurts and she's bleeding. And they do the pregnancy test and the pregnancy test comes back positive. And they do another test and that test comes back that she's really positive. She's full term. And there's still no sense of urgency. The sense of urgency doesn't come until the very end. When it's like the doctor goes like this, you see her grab on her head when she sees that baby. And I think everything just comes flooding in like, holy crap, all of the bad decisions that were made by the medical staff. She's just thinking about all of that. And I will never just deny what happened once Alexee was in that bathroom. We're not going to say that that didn't happen or that, you know, she has no responsibility because she bears her own responsibility. But I will always stick by the fact that she should have never got there to begin with. That had the medical staff done their job, had everybody done what needed to be done and, you know, notified them of what was happening. I do believe if she had to go in there and use the bathroom or say, oh my gosh, I feel like I got to poop, her mother's going to be like, wait a minute. Somebody needs to check. You just told me she was pregnant. She feels like she's got to poop. Let's make sure she's not having a baby. I 100% believe that that's exactly how her mother would have reacted because her mother is, you could see the relationship. She seems to be very take charge and just kind of get things rolling. I can sympathize with that and empathize with her because I'm the exact same way. You know, people want to call it helicopter parenting. People want to say that it's control parenting. Call it whatever you want, but I'm on my kids. I'm on top of everything. I want to know. I don't care that they're 18, 19 years old. Listen, my kid who's about to be 24 years old with type 1, I logged into his thing the other day. There was an alert from when I did have access to his medical records as a kid, and I logged in. I want to see what he went to his appointment, what the doctor said. I'm not going to sit here and wait for him to tell me, yeah, I'm nosy like that. That's my kid, And if he wants those boundaries, he can set them whenever he wants, but I probably won't follow them. That's just me. That's how I parent, to each his own. Rosa reminds me a lot of that, where she would be like, no, I'm going to find out regardless. What's going on? What's this? What's that? And she would have taken the proper action. So again, this is why this is why I am where I am. And then when I see the autopsy report and I see that there was no float test to determine exactly how much these lungs had inflated. Did they fully inflate it? Is the air, because did Alexee really just try to take a breath and panic? All of that stuff needs to come into play. And since that wasn't done, and then we have a pathology report that is incomplete. All of that is like, what is going on? And then the biggest thing for me, the biggest thing is the medical staff lying. People could say, well, they're misremembering. You can't misremember an entire scenario that never happened. You can't implement yourself into something that you weren't even there and create a whole set of events. That's not misremembering. That is straight up lying and creating a story. With some of them, I can say there's some misremembrance going on there, but some of them actually created something that didn't happen. It's like they heard something and they took little bits from each other's story. And you can always tell, as someone who, when you're in the legal field, police officers or whatever, you can always tell when people have gotten together to get their stories together. And that is what happened when it came to this story about the baby being wrapped, because everybody tries to say, oh, it was tied, twisted underneath. But then when you start getting them separate and you start getting them under oath, all of a sudden, well, it was open. I didn't open it. This person might have opened it. It wasn't closed when I saw it. That's not what all of you guys said at the beginning. And mind you, from the time of their police interview to the time of this court hearing was only a couple of weeks. So their memory and everything didn't change that much. And when you're dealing with a traumatic, yes, you do remember things differently. But by golly, if I open up my front door right now and all of a sudden I find a baby, this is a day that's going to be etched in my mind forever. All of these things, the details of everything is going to be flooded. And I can't say that's how everybody operates, so I'm not going to say, that they do. But they all know why they're in court. We all know why we're here. Would you not try to make sure that all of you got all of your facts straight before you're out there just throwing out random stories? So that leads me to question a lot of things like why? What are we trying to hide? What are we trying to do? Why not just say, I don't know, or I don't remember, and let the state come up with their story or their version of events? But now they can't do that. Why? Because you all have lied. You've all over and over and over and changed your stories and now trying to pass the blame and everybody's trying to cover. My biggest question is, and I know that there are a couple actually practicing attorneys who are on my page, so I'm going to ask them this question. We have an ongoing civil lawsuit. It's temporarily on hold, but especially against, they're all named, Dr. Vasquez specifically. I'm wondering how this affects her testimony. Will she testify? I don't know. Will she have to testify? Because she doesn't want to implicate herself because they're suing her. They'll probably take away her license. I'm surprised she's still even practicing with all of this craziness. But that is why I believe what I believe. When I started breaking down this case and looking into the other side of it, you could definitely see where something is not right. And when the red flags start popping up, I'm not just blindly going to say, yes, this girl is guilty. Because honestly, I don't believe she is. She is not. She's only guilty of putting that baby in there, but that is not the charge right now. They have to prove that she ended this baby's life, and there's no way in hell that I believe that happened. There's no way you're ever going to convince me that that happened. And with all of this stuff, I think everybody else can see. You guys have to get around. You're going to have to force yourself to get around the fact that there was that baby in the garbage can. And I know that is a hard thing to say and a hard thing to get over or to get past, but that is not, you need to start at the beginning. Did she intentionally end this baby's life before putting him in that garbage bag? That is the question here. That is what needs to be answered. Because what if it wasn't the garbage can, it was something else? What if she just left him there, or she did hand him over and he passed away? Do you see? That's the thing. We have to determine if she intentionally caused harm to that baby. And to me, the answer to that is no, and the state is not going to be able to prove that. And that is why I don't believe that she's guilty, and I believe that she's going to walk. Let's chat about it. This is the end. If I make new videos, it'll be in response to some comments. But yeah, that's where we're at, guys.